So, how does a nation go from peace to the brink of war? Well, it's almost never one single event. It's usually a series of steps, one leading to the next. Today we're going to unpack that exact chain of events, how Germany went from the peace treaties after World War I straight into World War II. Let's dive in.
It all starts right here, with this simple, powerful fact. A treaty, an agreement meant to keep the peace, was broken. And not just any treaty, but a huge one. This wasn't just a piece of paper, it was a promise. And when that promise was shattered, everything else started to unravel.
Okay, so a massive international agreement is just ignored, thrown out. So what? What happens after that line is crossed? Because the answer to that question, well, it gives us a pretty clear roadmap for how things can escalate fast.
To really get what happened, we first have to understand what the rules were to begin with. You can't understand why breaking them was such a big deal if you don't know what they were meant to do. See, these post-war treaties, they weren't just symbolic. They had really specific, concrete rules. Things like, your army can only be this big, or these are your borders and that's it. Think of them like guardrails on a highway, specifically put there to keep everyone in their lane and prevent another catastrophic crash. And this is the moment those guardrails get smashed. Intentionally. This is the turning point.
And let's be super clear about this. This was a choice. It wasn't some accident or a simple misunderstanding. Hitler's government looked at the rules and made a deliberate decision to break them. This was the first domino to get pushed over.
So what happens the moment that first domino falls? Well, the first consequence was a direct attack on one of the treaty's most important rules.
And it happened just like this. First, they just flat out defied the rules about disarmament. Then, they kicked off a massive rearmament program. We're talking building a brand new air force from scratch, pumping out tanks, warships, the whole 9 yards. And the result? Suddenly, Germany had one of the most powerful militaries in Europe again, completely against the rules. So, once the military was rebuilt and bigger than ever, the focus turned outward. The next set of rules to be broken had to do with Germany's borders.
And this really lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, you had the map of Europe that everyone had agreed to. The borders were set, but on the other hand, you had this new reality Germany was creating with its shiny new army. They marched into lands they weren't supposed to. They annexed other countries. They were literally redrawing the map by force.
At this point, you can probably see where this is all going, right? The treaties are in the trash, the military is back and stronger than ever, and the country is expanding its borders. All the pieces are on the board, and the path is becoming tragically clear.
This timeline just lays it all out. It's a perfect cause and effect chain. You can't have one without the other. Breaking the treaty is what allowed them to rebuild the army, and having that powerful army is what enabled them to expand their territory. All of it together created this momentum, an unstoppable slide toward war.
And there it is. We're right back to that single sentence that started this whole thing. But now you can see just how much is packed into those few words. The treaty violations, the rearmament, the expansion, it's all in there. A perfect, concise summary of the path to war.
So this is the question we're left with. In this case, breaking the rules led directly to war. But does it always have to? Is conflict just inevitable once those international guardrails are torn down? It's a huge question, and it's one that echoes from history right into the headlines we see today.